first thing that we have to look at is that you're on a scale, right? And when you're taking mass, you have to pay attention to what they're measuring the mass in. So what unit are they measuring the mass of the fish and the chicken in? What do you see on the scale? So you notice that they have kg here, kg. So this means we're measuring the mass of the fish and the chicken in kilograms. Now they ask for the mass of the fish, so we're going to be paying attention to what we're reading off of this scale, and the answer must be given in kilograms, right? So remember, just now when I asked you earlier, what did you get for the answer for this question? You said 2000, right? Now 2000 would be correct if the arrow was pointing at 2 and you were giving me the answer in grams. But if we pay close attention to where the arrow is, you notice that the arrow is like halfway between 2 and 3. You see that on the scale? The arrow is pointing between 2 and 3, and it's like halfway between 2 and 3. Notice that? So to get the mass of the fish, it would be a little over 2, and since it's, like I'm saying, halfway between 2 and 3, this is how we will get that the mass has to be about 2.5 kilograms. So if we want, we could write the answer as 2.5 kilograms. How would we write 2.5 as a decimal? You could tell me how to write 2.5 as a decimal? You remember how to write a fraction as a decimal? So we have a fraction and a half, that's the part that we really need to put as a decimal. You know how to write a half as a decimal? So if you know how to write a half as a decimal, you would put 2.5, right? 2.5. Now we have the mass of the fish. The second part of the question is asking what is the difference in the mass between the fish and the chicken, right? So if it is, they're asking you for the difference in the mass between the fish and the chicken, they're asking you to look at the scale for now the chicken, and for the fish, take those masses and take it away. So if we have to get the difference between the fish and the chicken, the mass of the fish and the chicken, first of all we have the answer for the mass of the fish. So we could just go to the scale now where they have the chicken, and let's see what mass of chicken we have in the scale. So based on what we're seeing, the arrow is pointing at 4, so this means we have a mass of 4, right? So the mass of the chicken is 4 kilograms. So if you want to get the difference, all we have to do is find the difference by taking away 2.5 from 4. So if you're using a fraction, you're going to end up with a fraction. If you're using a decimal, you're going to end up with a decimal, and either one would be correct. So the difference is 4 take away 2.5 or 2.5, whichever one you want to use, right? So let's say we use the decimal. Let's say we say 2.5, so 4 kilograms take away 2.5 kilograms, right? When we find the difference between them, you're going to get 1.5 kilograms. So this is the difference in their masses, and we're going to put that as the answer. So we're going to write 1.5 for our answer. Alright, so the idea here is to pay attention to what is the unit of measurement, and then being able to accurately read off your scale, you'll be able to get the answers. And if you understand how to read the scale, you should be fine with being able to do questions that involve scales where you have to measure masses.